What if everything you've been told about healthy fruits is missing one critical warning? A warning that could mean the difference between a healthy brain and a sudden stroke that changes your life forever? Imagine this. You're in your 60s, maybe early 70s, feeling proud because you've swapped candy and cookies for fresh fruit, thinking you're doing everything right. You reach for a bowl of sweet, juicy grapes, so small, so harmless, so refreshing. You snack on them while reading, watching TV, or even before bed, feeling good that you're choosing nature's candy instead of junk. But inside your body, something dangerous is happening every time you pop another handful into your mouth. Most people don't realize that for seniors, certain fruits can be almost as risky as sugary sodas or candy bars, sometimes even worse. Why? Because as we age, our body's ability to handle sugar changes dramatically. Your pancreas slows down, your liver becomes less efficient, and your arteries become more fragile. All of this creates the perfect storm where a sweet, innocent fruit can quietly damage your blood vessels day after day, leading to increased plaque, stickier blood, and sudden clots that travel straight to your brain. And the scariest part? You won't feel a thing until it's too late. Think about the stories you hear all the time. He was healthy, never smoked, ate fruits every day, and then out of nowhere, he had a stroke. These stories aren't random. They're connected to hidden lifestyle traps that seniors aren't warned about. Your doctor may say, eat more fruits and vegetables. But do they tell you which fruits can spike your blood sugar so fast that your body struggles to keep up? Do they explain how repeated sugar surges inflame the lining of your blood vessels, weakening them over time until a tiny clot cuts off oxygen to part of your brain? I remember a neighbor of mine, Mr. Jackson, 68 years old, always bragged about his healthy snacking. Grapes every day, sometimes raisins too. He thought he was avoiding the cakes his wife loved to bake, so he was proud. But he never paired them with nuts or protein, never watched how much he ate. One afternoon, he felt a strange numbness in his arm. By the time his wife called 911, the clot had already done its damage. His speech was never the same, and he couldn't drive anymore. He still asks, "How could this happen? I did everything right." It breaks my heart because he didn't know this fruit could betray him. So how did we get here? For decades, nutrition experts told us fruit is healthy. Eat as much as you want. And yes, fruits are loaded with vitamins, minerals, and fiber. But not all fruits act the same inside an aging body. In your younger years, your metabolism is fast, your liver works like a machine, and your blood vessels are strong and flexible. But after 60, everything slows down. Your insulin response weakens. Your liver's ability to process fructose, the main sugar in fruits, drops by 30% or more, and your arteries get stiffer. This means that the same fruit that was harmless when you were 25 can now overload your system at 65. Let's dig into what actually happens inside your blood vessels when you eat this fruit, grapes. Each grape is a tiny sugar bomb. A small handful can have 15 to 20 grams of sugar, mostly fructose. Unlike glucose, which is used by every cell in your body for energy, fructose must be processed entirely by your liver. Excess fructose turns into triglycerides, the fatty particles that clog arteries and make your blood thick and sticky. This is why seniors who snack on grapes all day often have high triglycerides on their blood tests, even if they never touch. Now, imagine you're a senior with borderline high blood pressure, a bit of belly fat, and mild insulin resistance, conditions that are incredibly common after 60. You snack on grapes. Your blood sugar surges, your insulin surges too. Manage it, but your cells aren't as responsive as they used to be. The sugar stays in your bloodstream longer, damaging the delicate lining of your arteries, making it easier for cholesterol to stick and for clots to form. If you're dehydrated, another common issue for seniors, your blood becomes even, thicker, turning a minor risk into a major one. What makes grapes worse is that they're mindless. You don't eat just one or two. You grab a bunch. Unlike a big apple that takes time to chew, grapes are gone in seconds, and the next thing you know, you've eaten 2 or 3 servings without blinking. Each handful pushes your blood sugar higher. Each spike pushes your arteries closer to disaster. And it happens so silently that by the time you feel a problem, like sudden dizziness, numbness, or trouble speaking, the damage is already done. Does this mean you should never eat grapes again? Of course not. The real danger is in the combination: quantity, frequency, timing, and lack of awareness. Pair this fruit with an aging metabolism, sedentary habits, dehydration, and certain medications like diuretics or blood pressure pills. That affect fluid balance, and you've built a hidden time bomb for your circulatory system. So what can you do about it? The first step is understanding that not all healthy foods are healthy for everyone, especially not for seniors with unique metabolic needs. In the next block, I'll show you exactly how to tell which fruits are safe, how to enjoy grapes without harming your arteries, and what simple swaps can dramatically reduce your stroke risk. So keep listening. This could be the one small change that protects you or someone you love from a devastating stroke. Asterisk, let's break this down even deeper, because once you see exactly what's happening inside your body, you'll never look at that innocent fruit the same way again. Imagine you're sitting at your kitchen table. Maybe you're reading the paper, watching the birds outside, feeling good because you're snacking on something natural. You grab a handful of grapes. They're sweet, refreshing, easy to chew. But with each bite, your bloodstream is hit with a sugar wave that's far stronger than you'd ever expect. Here's what your body does. Next, your pancreas senses that sugar and releases insulin to push it into your cells. But your cells, especially as you age, don't listen as well anymore. It's called insulin resistance, and it's common in seniors. So the sugar stays in your bloodstream, damaging the walls of your arteries. Over time, this repeated damage is like tiny scratches on the inside of a pipe. Cholesterol particles stick to these scratches, forming plaque. Now, add high triglycerides into the mix. That's what happens when your liver converts all that extra fructose, the main sugar in grapes, into fat. Triglycerides don't just sit around nicely. They float in your blood, making it thicker, stickier, and more likely to clot. A sticky clot is all it takes to block blood flow to your brain. And just like that, your whole life changes in seconds. I once heard about a woman named Margaret. She was 72, retired, living alone, loved tending her garden. She had what she called her healthy routine: toast in the morning, yogurt at lunch, and always a big bowl of grapes in the afternoon. She didn't like big meals, so she grazed all day. Nobody told her that grazing on high-sugar fruits could silently push her triglycerides through the roof. She never felt a thing until one afternoon she bent down to pull a weed and couldn't get up. Her right arm wouldn't move. She had to drag herself across the yard to call for help. It turned out she'd had a clot that blocked blood to her brain for just a few minutes, but the damage was permanent. Her family kept asking, how? She never ate junk food. But grapes, day after day, handful after handful, gave her just enough sugar to do real harm. And here's what's even more important. It's not just the grapes. It's how they're eaten alone, on an empty stomach, without protein, without fiber, without anything to slow that sugar flood. Seniors often don't feel thirsty, so they're dehydrated, which makes the blood thicker. Many take medications that impact fluid levels or circulation, diuretics for high blood pressure, beta blockers, even common over-the-counter pain meds. All these factors add up. One single thing might not hurt you, but the combination is what triggers strokes. Let's look at the science for a second. Studies have shown that fructose, especially in large amounts, raises uric acid in the body. High uric acid doesn't just cause gout. It's now linked to high blood pressure and stroke risk too. And seniors' kidneys don't clear uric acid as efficiently as when they were young. So with every extra handful of grapes, the pressure on your arteries ticks upward like a time bomb you can't hear. And yet, how often do you hear this from your doctor? How often does a dietitian sit you down and say, "Hey, I see you love your grapes, but let's check your triglycerides, your uric acid, your hydration, your blood pressure spikes when you snack"? Almost never. That's why so many seniors think they're doing everything right, while their bodies silently pay the price. Another overlooked factor? Portion size. Grapes are one of the easiest fruits to overeat. No peeling, no slicing, no seeds in many types. Some people eat an entire bag while watching TV. Imagine the sugar surge. 1 cup of grapes is already over 20 grams of sugar. But who stops at 1 cup? 2, 3 cups can sneak in easily. That's 40 to 60 grams of sugar in one sitting. More than a can of soda. For a senior whose metabolism is slower, and who may have underlying insulin resistance or prediabetes, that's a massive burden. Let's not forget raisins. They're even worse because they're just grapes with the water removed, so the sugar is more concentrated. A tiny box can contain as much sugar as a candy bar, yet people toss them in cereal, oatmeal, salads, or eat them by the handful, thinking it's healthy. One man I know sprinkled raisins on everything. He never made the connection when his blood work came back showing sky-high triglycerides every year, until his doctor finally told him, "Your so-called healthy raisins are killing your arteries. But don't panic. The goal here is not to scare you into swearing off grapes forever. The real message is, once you understand how your body works, you can make smarter choices. You can still enjoy sweet fruits, but you have to respect the unique needs of an aging body, your slower insulin response, your more fragile arteries, your need for stable blood sugar. So what can you do? First, watch your portion. Instead of a big bowl, have a small handful. Pair it with a piece of cheese, Greek yogurt, or a handful of almonds. This adds protein and healthy fat that slow the absorption of sugar into your blood. Eat grapes with other foods, not alone. And never right before bed, nighttime. Sugar spikes can be especially damaging because your body's metabolism slows down while you sleep, making it harder to manage that sugar load. Hydration is another key. Seniors often underestimate how quickly dehydration thickens their blood. If you eat high-sugar fruits, drink plenty of water throughout the day. Add a pinch of natural salt or an electrolyte tablet if your doctor says it's safe. This helps maintain fluid balance, especially if you're on medications that make you lose fluids. Finally, think about swapping grapes for fruits that love your arteries instead of harming them. Berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries are naturally lower in sugar and packed with antioxidants that actually protect your blood vessels. Studies show that seniors who eat berries regularly have better circulation and lower risk of cognitive decline. Apples and pears are also better choices. They have more fiber, which slows sugar absorption, and they're more filling, so you're less likely to overeat. But this is just the beginning. In the next block, I'll walk you through simple swaps, practical snack combos, and tiny tweaks that could slash your stroke risk and keep your blood flowing freely for years to come. You'll see exactly how to build a fruit bowl that heals, not harms. Stay with me. Your arteries will thank you. Asterisk. So now that you understand why that innocent-looking bowl of grapes could silently be working against your arteries, let's turn the page and look at what you can do right now to protect yourself and still enjoy fruit without fear. Because the truth is, you don't have to throw away every sweet snack you love. You just have to know the rules that your aging body demands. Once you see how small tweaks work, you'll realize that the difference between a healthy snack and a stroke risk could be just a handful away. Let's start with the power of pairing. Think of your fruit like a spark. Alone, it can ignite a sugar surge that burns through your bloodstream, scorching your delicate artery walls. But when you pair it with the right foods, healthy fats, protein, or extra fiber, you control that spark. You slow it down. You tame it. Imagine adding a small handful of walnuts or almonds to your grapes, or a slice of cheese, or mixing your grapes into plain Greek yogurt instead of eating them solo. That protein and fat slow digestion, so sugar trickles into your blood instead of flooding it. That tiny shift can make the difference between a gentle rise in blood sugar and a dangerous spike. Another simple trick is portion awareness. Many seniors have no idea how many grapes count as a single serving. A true serving is about 15 to 20 grapes, roughly the size of a light bulb in your hand. Not a whole bag you mindlessly munch through in front of the TV. Try this tonight when you buy grapes. Divide them into snack-size bags or bowls right away. That way, you see exactly what you're eating. And remember, this goes for other high glycemic fruits too. Bananas, pineapples, mangoes. They're delicious, but you have to respect their sugar punch. I met a gentleman named Harold once, 75 years old, big smile, always wore suspenders. He loved his morning banana, but he also added it to a smoothie with orange juice, plus toast with jam. He thought he was starting the day healthy. In reality, he was dumping more sugar into his bloodstream than a can of soda would. His doctor kept increasing his blood pressure meds without asking about breakfast. The real solution? Harold learned to swap the banana for half an apple, added chia seeds for fiber, and switched his OJ to water with lemon. Within months, his triglycerides dropped, his blood sugar stabilized, and he felt more energetic than he had in years. Let's talk about hydration. It's shocking how many seniors walk around in a constant state of mild dehydration. When you don't drink enough water, your blood becomes thicker, more viscous, which means it's more likely to clot. Combine that with high sugar spikes from fruits like grapes, and you're basically asking for trouble. A good rule? For every serving of fruit, drink a glass of water. Add a squeeze of citrus or a few cucumber slices if you find plain water. Boring. Even mild dehydration can raise stroke risk, but it's one of the easiest things to fix. Now, about alternatives. What fruits should you lean on instead? Berries are your best friends. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries are packed with anthocyanins, plant compounds that actually help repair the lining of your arteries. They're lower in sugar, higher in fiber, and they taste amazing. Studies have shown that seniors who eat berries several times a week have significantly lower rates of stroke and cognitive decline. They also help fight inflammation, which is at the root of most circulatory problems. Citrus fruits are also good choices in moderation. Oranges, grapefruits, lemons, but always eat the whole fruit, not just the juice. Juice strips out the fiber that slows down sugar absorption, leaving you with a straight shot of fructose. Whole oranges have fiber and vitamin C, which support your blood vessels. Just remember, one orange is enough. Eating 3 at a time will send your sugar right back up. One thing that surprises many seniors is how timing matters. Eating high sugar fruits like grapes right before bed is one of the worst things you can do. While you sleep, your metabolism slows down dramatically. Your body has to work harder to handle that sugar load, and the damage to your blood vessels is worse because your circulation slows at night. Instead, aim to eat fruit earlier in the day when you're more active and your body can burn it as energy. And don't underestimate the power of movement. Even light activity after eating, a 10-minute walk around the block, some gentle stretches, can help your muscles use up that sugar instead of letting it linger in your bloodstream. Seniors who make post-meal movement a habit have better circulation, lower blood sugar, and dramatically lower risk of stroke. Medication check. This is another piece most people miss. Some blood pressure medications, like diuretics, can dehydrate you, making your blood thicker. Others can interact with how your body handles sugar. If you're eating lots of fruit, but your blood work never improves, bring it up with your doctor. Sometimes the issue isn't just what you eat, but how your meds, your hydration, and your daily habits all interact. Now, here's a practical tip for your kitchen. Don't make fruit the centerpiece of every snack. Use it as a garnish. Fill your plate with protein, fiber, and healthy fats, then add a small portion of fruit for flavor. This one habit can transform your blood sugar response. Instead of a big fruit bowl, make a berry and nut parfait. Instead of a banana smoothie with juice, blend berries with spinach, chia seeds, and almond butter. The difference is massive. Let's talk dried fruit again. Dried grapes, raisins are just concentrated sugar. A quarter cup of raisins can have 30 grams of sugar. If you love raisins, use them sparingly. Sprinkle a tablespoon on oatmeal that's packed with nuts and seeds to buffer that sugar. Or switch to chopped dates or figs in tiny amounts, always with protein or fiber. Finally, build your fruit routine into a bigger picture of stroke prevention. Keep your blood pressure under control. Get routine blood work to monitor triglycerides and uric acid. And watch your weight around the belly. Central obesity is a huge risk factor for clot formation. Tiny lifestyle tweaks add up. Daily hydration, mindful snacking, smarter pairings, more fiber, and gentle movement. None of these cost you anything, but they can save you everything. In the next block, I'll give you a step-by-step daily plan. How to structure your snacks, what to stock in your fridge, and what small daily rituals keep your blood flowing smoothly. Plus, I'll share one more true story that shows exactly why it's never too late to make a change. Even if you've been snacking on harmless fruit your whole life. Stay with me. Your brain will thank you for it. So now you know. That tiny fruit you thought was your best friend can quietly become your biggest enemy if you don't respect how your body changes with age. But here's the good news. You don't have to live in fear of grapes, bananas, or any other sweet fruit. You just need to understand how your metabolism, your blood vessels, and your daily choices work together. It's all about portion, timing, pairing, and balance. Tonight, before you reach for that big bowl of grapes, pause. Ask yourself, could I have just a handful instead? Could I pair this with a piece of cheese or a few nuts? Could I drink a glass of water before and after? These tiny questions can protect your arteries for years to come. If you love fruit, fill your fridge with berries, apples, pears, fruits that work with your body, not against it. Keep moving, stay hydrated, and don't let these hidden sugar spikes rob you of your independence. Remember, a stroke can steal so much in an instant. Your speech, your mobility, your freedom. But knowledge is power. One smart swap, one mindful habit, one conversation with your doctor can tip the scale back in your favor. If this helped you see your fruit bowl in a whole new way, share it with a friend, a neighbor, or a loved one who snacks without thinking twice. You might just save them from a health scare they never saw coming. And if you want more clear, science-backed tips for keeping your heart, brain, and circulation healthy as you age, in simple, practical steps you can actually follow, join us here at Senior Health Today. We're here to break down the complicated stuff so you can stay strong, independent, and full of life for all the years ahead. Stay smart, stay safe, and remember, sometimes the smallest bite can make the biggest difference.